Welcome, everyone, to the Better Love Movement podcast, where you will finally learn how to intentionally do dating and relationships right. My name is Anita Stoudemire, and I'm a licensed professional therapist and your personal love mentor. I've worked with thousands of singles and couples, giving them the skills needed to attract and keep the amazing love they desire. It's my heart's work to help people to get the skills needed to not only become the very best versions of themselves, but to help them grow and evolve emotionally and relationally. You can absolutely have the romantic relationship of your dreams. Come and let me show you how. Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of the Better Love Movement podcast. And so I have with me today, that's going to be a guest on the podcast today. I am interviewing Kara Adams of the Fab Kara, and we are in episode 111, and it is entitled, How is Fear Showing Up in Your Dating and Relationships? So let me tell you a little bit about Kara. Kara Adams, better known as the Fab Kara, is a Proverbs 31 woman, a speaker, an author, designer, creative, love coach, relationship mentor, clarity guide, influencer, connector, fashionista, foodie, urban gardener, dancer, and single mom of 2 teens. Kara helps strong, independent women embrace femininity and choose love over fear with her VIP private one-on-one coaching, masterclasses, her books, and live broadcasts. She works with people from around the world in all seasons of their love journey. Whether completely single, dating, or coupled up, she provides clarity on love, dating, and relationships. Kara is a woman on a mission to encourage, inspire, and motivate kingdom couples to be wildly attracted for life, because just being married is not good enough. Welcome, Kara.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me, Anita. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. So tonight, we are talking all about this concept of, how fear is showing up in our dating and our relationships.
Yeah.
My platform is predominantly ladies. I have some guys who listen regularly, but it's predominantly ladies. So speaking to them tonight about that topic. But before we jump into that, I am curious about your Instagram platform. That is how I know you, through your Instagram platform, the Fab Kara. And That's how I became acquainted with your work and what you're doing. Tell me a little bit about how you came to do this type of work.
Well, it's so interesting. I was always that girl that I've always loved relationships. I've always loved all the romance and all those things since I was a little girl, like so many of us do. But I was always the one that even in high school, like I would talk to all my girlfriends and stuff about relationships. I was that person on the job. And what I've realized is no matter where I've worked, whether I was in a buying office, whether I was a retail manager in a store, I was a high school teacher, what I've realized is when your relationships are out of sync, when they are messed up, when things are not going well in your private life and your personal relationships, platonic, friendship, family, love, nothing else is right. And so, a lot of people think that people can't tell and they can fake it, but you can tell. Either you're going to snap somebody's head off, you're not going to be as gracious and loving as you could be, or else you're just not going to be as powerful at work and perform at their highest level. So literally one of the things that I realized is along the way, until I solved relationship issues for my students, for my employees, that kind of thing, a lot of times I can't get the best work out of them when that's out of whack. And so what happened, I remember one of my students, like Miss Adams, we're getting ready to go to college. They were high school students, were like, we need what you have. We need you to write a book. We need to take your advice with us. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And I've really thought about that. I was like, okay, let me put some intention behind this. Let me put some direction behind this. Let me focus on this.
Awesome, awesome. And so, what's amazing about social media is that we are able to touch lives like all over the world. So that's a
Yes,
really amazing thing about it. I
yes,
notice you do a lot of lives. You will
yes,
collaborate with other influencers or other
yes,
coaches, and you do a lot
yes.
of great lives. I was kind of binge watching some of them today
Awesome,
because I like
awesome.
to do my research. Um, and tell me a little bit about, I guess, who would be your ideal client when you're thinking
Oh
about
my
who you
goodness.
really love to help?
Honestly, you mentioned it already at the top. I am really have a heart for that strong, independent woman
Mm-hmm.
who, honestly, whether you're thinking you don't need a man, you got everything else going together in place, there is something that's missing in terms of the skills and the techniques and things that serve us well in the workplace do not work in our relationships.
Yep.
And so a lot of these women are so strong, and so many of them want a strong, masculine, alpha, dominant man that's going to pursue and woo them. But he ain't coming for you if you're coming with that same masculine energy. He ain't
Yep.
having it. A
Yep.
real strong, dominant alpha man like that will not tolerate that kind of behavior from a woman. And so one of the things that I have a really soft heart for that, because I'm a strong independent woman myself, but I'm also very, very feminine. And
Mm.
what I think is a lot of us are not getting the love relationships we want because we need to reconcile and embrace our femininity. And we
Mm.
need to also choose love over fear, because fear manifests itself in so many different ways, and it shows up in your love dating and relationships. And sometimes that's what's keeping you from the love, from the relationships, from the marriage, from all the different things that you desire in your heart, and they just don't happen for you. So that strong, independent woman is the key focus of where I'm really putting a lot of my efforts this year.
Awesome. So you're talking my language. Everybody knows on the podcast, I am very passionate about polarity, about masculine and feminine energy, about ladies leaning back into their feminine energy and
Yes,
embracing that side of themselves. The,
yes,
the modern day woman has been sold a lie. It's
yes,
one of the
yes,
speeches
yes.
I have told people forever. So you're definitely speaking our language. You talked a little bit just now about the fear that may be showing up for a lot of ladies when they're
Yes,
dating or in a relationship. So
yes,
tell me how ladies can
absolutely.
recognize these fears.
Well, I'm a woman of God, so a lot of what I have to say is kingdom based, but it applies to anybody. Because, like I said, when you're a classroom teacher and you have to separate church and state, but it still
Mhm.
infuses who I am. And the Bible says we have an enemy that's here to steal, kill, and destroy. And I
Mm,
know he is stealing, killing, and destroying our love, dating, and relationships.
yep.
And the best way, the easiest way, the fastest way is with fear. The
Yep.
problem is most women are thinking, oh, I'm not afraid of this. I'm not afraid of that. I'm this, that, and the other. It's them, it's that. But, our fears become our doubts. When
Mm,
we doubt all these things, when we're anxious about them, when
yep.
we're insecure, when we stop believing, when we have unbelief.
Mm,
And so what happens, I did a webinar not too long ago, and I think I need to do it again. But I was really talking about all the different ways to identify the different ways that fear sneaks into our lives. Because until you can recognize all the different ways, I think I had like somewhere between 50 to 75 different words for
wow.
fear. And so until you can identify what it looks like, and not the big ones like anxiety and this, that,
Right.
and the other, but you start saying, okay, some of these other things that are kind of on the fringe that I'm not thinking are fear are actually manifesting in my life as fear. And when I step into that space, I can't accept love, because
Right.
you either have fear, you choose fear, or you have faith. And if you don't
Mm,
have faith, that there is love for you, if you don't have faith that you deserve a good love, if you don't have faith that there's good men out there, you can't have the kind of love that you really, really want in your life.
that's true. That's true. And that whole there are no good men left, that is a lie.
It
But
is. And
a
you know what I think is so interesting about that is one of the things, because I told you I go live a lot. And
mhm.
so one of the things I've noticed is I have to keep coming back to the same thing. And I don't mind repeating it. I always have new people from around the world that are tuning in.
Yep.
I'm more than happy to repeat the message. As a teacher, you have these touch points. You have to say things so many different times till somebody hears it. But you have to make a decision and you have to believe that there's good men out there. And here's the thing. Sometimes I think ladies get trapped up into thinking about quantity. So they're worried about how many good men are out there. But honestly, ladies, if you're looking for just one, why do you care if the rest of them aren't acting right? Who cares? You're only looking for one good man that was perfectly designed and created for you. And once you find that man, you go all in and you make a decision that I'm going to try to make this work. I'm not going to let my fear, I'm not going to let my baggage, I'm not going to let the experiences that happened to me, I'm not going to take my family history if it wasn't the greatest, because I come from a family of women that they typically have not stayed in relationship with one man for the rest of their lives. So it's like, I made a decision that I don't care about my family background. I can have something different. I can have something better. I can have something great. And so if you don't believe it, though, it's called confirmation bias.
Right.
And so if what you believe is what you will see. So speaking things into existence, the things that you say, the people you hang out with, the things that you're doing, all those things become your reality, because after a while, you don't believe it's going to happen. So your brain will work really hard to make sure it doesn't happen. And you won't see a good man in front of you because you don't believe it exists. So even if he's standing right there, tap dancing in front of you, you're not going to recognize him because you've already decided, and your brain is like, he can't be a good man because you already said there aren't any. And so that is one of the biggest problems where I think women are getting distracted by quantity instead of the quality of one great man that comes into their life to appreciate, love, and respect that man that God has for you.
That's it. No, you are speaking my language. And I tell women, if you are what my grandmother, she gave me this saying, and her mother gave it to her. Anita, I want you to be hard to get, but easy to be with.
Ooh.
And when you are a woman like that, a high value woman, every man isn't for you.
No. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing, that's not a bad thing. That's what dating is. That is like, to me, it's like, because I'm a fashionista, it's like trying on clothes. So if we took our same attitude that we do with shopping, so we go, okay, this one's cute, but it doesn't fit right. And that one's not the right shade. And that one's kind of itchy. And that one doesn't feel good. Like if we took that into our dating, we don't get upset that the coat didn't act right. We don't get upset because the coat didn't fit. We just go, what else do you have? Or maybe I need to go look somewhere else. Or is there something I can special order? Or maybe I need to wait. Or maybe I could just use what I already have and I'll wait till, come on. That's how we need to take it. There are things that we have in our skill set that we are not applying to our love dating relationships. And that's why we're not having the success that we really should be having.
Right. No, I agree. I 100% agree. I 100% agree. The book that the manuscript that I'm completing, God willing, next week, it will be at the editor. I used a similar analogy about shoes, because I know ladies love shoes. And I say, how many times have you gone into the store and you've seen a really amazing pair of shoes and it's in a size 7 and you wear a size 8? And so you could buy it and you could take it home and try to wear it and your feet are, I mean, like.
Exactly. Exactly. You try to stretch it, you try to change it, you try to make it something it's not.
I'm like, don't do that.
No,
You don't regret it.
No.
Yeah. So I just tell ladies, don't do that. You've gotta maybe go to a different store or, just keep looking, because at the end of the day, you're going to squeeze your size 8 into that size 7 and it's not going to feel good. So, but I love that. Yeah. About the clothes. That's excellent. Excellent. That's an excellent analogy. So, okay.
Yes. We're of like minds.
Yes. So what's your advice for women who want a genuine loving relationship, but fear they may never be able to obtain it?
Well, first thing, like I said, you have to understand that your words have creative power. What you say, you speak into existence. What you see, the reality around you, is born of all the things you've said, all the actions you've done based on those things and thoughts and beliefs. So the first thing you do is you need to shift your mindset. You need to stop thinking the thoughts that are not serving you. They're not moving in the direction that you need to go into. And one of the other things that we did at the top of the year is really talk about all the ways we need to let go, not look back, and move on from the things that don't serve us. And so that is another thing that I think is really, really important, that a lot of us are dragging along our expectations. You know, I was thinking about what you said. Here's one of the things when you were saying a little bit earlier, the advice that you got. Here's something that's similar that I think about, is that we need to lower our expectations and raise our standards.
Okay.
Low expectations, because a lot of us are walking into relationships expecting everything from this man. And he's like, hold on, I just showed up. But then you raise your standards, because it's kind of like going to the amusement park. You got to be this tall to ride this ride. You got to hit these standards if you want to come holler at me. So if you don't meet my standards, but I'm going to lower my expectations. I'm not going to have unrealistic expectations for this relationship. Maybe the relationship doesn't flow exactly like one I've been in before, but those didn't work out. So maybe that's a good thing. And maybe it doesn't look like the picture in my mind, but men don't think like us. And so that's one of the beautiful things about it, is we add to their life and they add to ours. And so I think it's really, really important for us to be able to shift our mindset. It's one of the things that I wrote about in my book, His Good Thing, 31 Days of Affirmations. It gives you an opportunity to think and reflect and speak on really powerful I am statements that will move you into a direction of believing that you are his good thing, just like it says in Proverbs, that when a man finds a good wife, notice a man finds a good wife. So that's back to leaning back, because we let a man pursue and woo. We let him do all the alpha, strong, masculine things, and we sit back in our femininity and let him do that. And so that gives you an opportunity to meditate on those things, think on those things, journal on those things, and really reflect and shift your mindset to a place of readiness. So when a man appears, you can actually evaluate, is he a good man, and is he a good man for me?
Right. That's it. That's it right there. I have to say amen to all of that, because men are going to come. Like, I believe men are going to come, as my grandmother said about the, if you miss one train or we miss one bus, another will come. Doesn't mean you want to get on it, because it may not be taking you to where you want to go. So we got to be careful about that. Every train or bus is not our train or bus, but men will come. It's really our job to vet and qualify them.
Absolutely. One of the things I always say, because, people talk about, oh, you attract what you believe and this or the other. I think that's a bunch of hooey, because here's my thought process. I think as ladies, we are like the light on a porch at night. And when you flip the light on, everything comes. Everything comes. Doesn't mean I entertain it, but everything's attracted to this light. All this fabulous that I have right here, they're all attracted to it. It's up to me, like you said, to qualify, to admit, to let in, all that stuff. Once again, that's the feminine power. We've been lied to when we think that men have all the power. No, ladies, we're the ones that need to take our power back and take back the feminine control that we have. We decide if we give them our phone number. We decide if we answer the phone. We decide if we go on the date. We decide if we take a second date. We decide. It's a collaborative effort. It's an ebb and flow, yin and yang. The man advances, you respond. And so in our response, we have the final say as far as the pacing of the relationship, where it's going, and the intention.
Right. That's it. That's it. So, ladies, I want you to listen. She's giving you some powerful gems here. And it really is about being in that feminine power. I believe that's how we're going to turn this ship around. It may not happen very quickly, but I believe that if we all got on board, that's what would happen. Because we have seen a shift. We've seen this shift where women have become more masculine. Men have in turn become more feminine, because there must be balance in the universe. And so we want to turn that around.
Well, what's so interesting is what I have found when I listen to so many ladies, if their expectation is that there's not good men. I remember I put up a post about every woman deserves to be wooed and pursued.
Mhm.
And apparently somebody got triggered by that. And I'm like,
Oh,
how can you argue with every woman deserves?
right,
Where's the argument? Because
right.
her argument was in there aren't any men, they won't do this, that, and the other. I'm like, I
Mm,
said every woman deserves. I didn't say
right,
anything about the man. I
right,
said every woman deserves a man that woos and pursues her. So that's about
right.
the woman. That's about your power. It's about what you deserve, what you believe, the energy you give to yourself, how you fall in love with yourself, how you fall in love with your life, and then you fall in love.
That's it.
When we go out of order, that's when things are a little janky, and that's how things don't work right. And so we need to get back to some of those basics, like what you're talking about in terms of some of that collective wisdom, some of the
Mhm.
ideas of the Titus too, like the older women helping the younger women,
Yep,
some of us
yep,
listening to changing what we think about, changing what we listen to,
yep.
changing our circle of friends. There's so many different things that we can do to empower ourselves to love better, love well, and love strong.
Well, I am Auntie Anita to a lot of younger women that I coach. They said, "You're not quite old enough to be my mom, but you're old enough to be my auntie." So I am honored. I am honored to be Auntie Anita to a lot of younger women, teaching them all the things that I wished and I'm not going to say I didn't know it, I didn't apply it because my mother and grandmother gave me a lot of wonderful wisdom. And unfortunately, I didn't apply it until I got into my late 20s.
Yes,
But I'm giving them that same wisdom. I love to tell people that regardless of what year it is, there are certain principles that are timeless. They're
yes,
just certain
agreed,
principles that our
agreed.
values, those things are timeless. That's not
Yes,
based on the culture, in my opinion.
agreed,
A lady is a
agreed.
lady is a lady.
Agreed, agreed. And
So,
I have a very similar, some of my clients have referred to me as being like their big sis that's
yep,
speaking to them and sharing with them. And one of the things I think is so important that you mentioned when you talked about my bio is about being on a love journey.
yep,
All of us are on a love journey. And so we start off undateable. Truly, we're not old enough to date. Our parents say you're
right,
not old enough to date, or whatever your social or cultural conventions are. We are become completely single, and then we're out on the dating scene. And then what happens is for some people, they find their person and they're married for the rest of their lives. Then there's
right.
others who are single their entire life. And
Wow.
then most of us, I think of it more like a highway. We have the little detours, we have the rest
Mm,
stops. Sometimes we have an exit. Maybe we're in a relationship. Maybe we get married. Maybe we find ourselves single again after divorce or being
yep,
widowed. And then we
yep,
find ourselves going through another stage of being undateable. People don't like to hear the undateable, but I'm going to say it
right.
anyway. You need to take a time out
Yep,
when you need to reconvene and fall back in love with yourself. Like I said
yep,
before, fall back in love with your life and then fall in love. And you have
right.
to do it in that order. And as
Yep,
many times as you need to after every breakup, after every major situation in your life. But that love journey, we need to learn how to be content in every season of that love
mhm,
journey, not to rush ahead, but to enjoy the season completely that you're in. So that when
yep,
the next season comes, because we don't know when it's going to come, just like when you're happily married, you don't know what the future holds, and you might
right.
find yourself single again through no fault of your own. And
Yep,
so you need to be able to fall in love with the season you're in and know that there is a great life for you no matter what it looks like. So many of the women that I work with, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. Some are 50s and never been married. Some are 20 and already been married and divorced.
wow.
So that's why I think the love journey idea really serves us all well, because we really don't know where we are, but we can learn to enjoy the journey because it is not a rush to the altar. It is
Right,
not a rush to a wedding. It's all about being married. And for me, it's all about being wildly attracted for life,
yep,
because just being married is not good enough. So we need to stop this language of idolizing a one-day party, because that's all a
right,
wedding is, and
right.
really focus on going all in into what a monogamous, committed, covenant relationship that marriage is. It can be wildly attractive, full of passion, lots of desire, friendship, goodness, all kinds of stuff. That's the mission I'm on. And if it starts with the singles, I'll do that. We need to start to the women that are strong and independent. I'll do
Mhm.
that. If I talk to the couples about how we go all in, I'll do that too.
Awesome. Awesome. So I just want to say thank you for being on the show, but I
Yes.
want you to tell us about a product or service, something that you want everyone to rush and get.
Well,
Tell
you
us.
know what? Especially because of our conversation, I'm going to turn it back to his good thing again. It's my
Okay.
ebook. It's 31 Days of Affirmation. I think it's so important. Even if you're in relationships, sometimes what's so good about being around people who are single when you're in relationship is remember what young love looks like and what love
Mhm.
felt like. And so I think anything that you can do to, because there's so much attack in the culture on relationships about
Mm,
love, dating, covenant, marriage, that anything you can do to help your mindset, to help you overcome your fear and anxiety, your doubt and unbelief, to also hold on to hope and joy and
mhm.
all those things, all of that's encompassed into my His Good Thing ebook. That's what I would love for y'all to grab a copy of. I think it would
Okay.
really, really serve you well.
Awesome. I'm going to put a link in the show notes. It directly so that they can order the
Yes,
ebook. That is
yes,
my intention to put a link in the show notes.
awesome. Thank you.
Where can my listeners connect with you?
Oh my gosh, my favorite place to connect is, of course, on Instagram, where you and I first connected.
Yep.
I love the interaction of it. But the neat thing is, I'm the Fab Kara everywhere on social. So on
Okay.
Instagram, I'm the Fab Kara. On Twitter, I'm the Fab Kara. My business page on Facebook is the Fab Kara. On
Okay.
TikTok, it's at the Fab Kara with the @ sign, but I'm the Fab Kara everywhere. And once again, if you drop into my Instagram, you will see the links to all the things that I'm doing, including getting on my email list so you can find out what I'm doing next.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This has been a wonderful conversation. My listeners are going to resonate so much with everything that you said. They've heard it probably a million times from me, but they're going to hear it in a different way, and I'm hoping that it will really resonate with them because
Oh, that would be such
that's
a
the
blessing.
journey, yeah, that I want to take ladies on is the journey back to their feminine energy, their feminine power, that I believe is the greatest part of them. So I want them to return to that, to return to the good stuff. So thank you
Absolutely.
so
And you know
much.
what? I am a fellow co-journer in
Yep.
the work in that area in terms of really
Awesome.
helping people embrace their femininity and choose love over fear.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Ladies, if you have not subscribed to the podcast, please, please, please do so. And do me the biggest favor ever and head over to the YouTube channel where you can watch this episode of the podcast. You can listen to the podcast everywhere that podcasts are, but please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that bell icon so whenever a new episode pops up on Mondays, you will be alerted. If you have a question or a comment for me, feel free to email me at info@betterlovemovement.com. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Thank you so much for joining us today. And as always, stay open to love.
Thank you for listening to today's podcast episode. If you are enjoying this podcast, please leave me a 5-star rating and review. Your ratings and reviews help me to continue to bring you more great content. Head on over to YouTube and check out the Better Love Movement channel. There's more video content there, and you can subscribe to be notified when a new video is posted. If you have a question that you would like to have answered on the podcast or in a YouTube video, please send it to me at info@betterlovemovement.com. You can also connect with me directly on the Magnify app to have your dating and relationship questions answered. That's MAGNIFI, and it's available on iOS and Android. You get your first 5 minutes for free. So give me a call and let's chat.